Next up, at UFC Paris, we have the main card opener. We have another fight. I mentioned the line movement on this card is wild. Ziam opened as a dog. He was still an underdog just last week, and he has now full flipped to the favorite. Yeah. I can snap better than you.
Your snaps sound fat. It's a fat sound to snap. It should be crisp. They literally sound like they have cholesterol.
Those are good snaps. Anyway, Ziam, 15-4 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He is on a 3-fight win streak, taking on Matt Steamroller Frevola. 11-4 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that knockout loss to main eventer Benoit Saint-Denis. These are a clash of styles because we got Ziam, the distance striker, the low volume pacing, slow the pace striker. He likes to stay at range. He will work well if he's in a clinch, but for the most part, he's going to manage range with solid leg kicks. Then he'll decide to close that distance to get to the clinch, where he'll work in some elbows, stay busy, and then back the hell out all over again. Technical fighter. He avoids risks at all costs. He picks his shots well. He only engages when he sees an opportunity, and he takes his time and looks to point his way to a victory. He's coming off that sketchy win over Claudio Puelles, where he was taken down a shit ton, but ultimately given a decision because of the striking and the pressure. He's taking on Matt Frevola. Matt Frevola does not take his time. He is not a patient striker. He'll come charging forward, bombing away, and shooting takedowns. He does not stop coming forward until the fight's over. Typically, kill or be killed kind of guy. Doesn't really love decisions. He'll throw big looping shots, in some cases even a sloppy back fist. He averages almost 3 takedowns per fight, a low 40% takedown accuracy, but he does have 14 takedowns in 10 UFC fights. But he is weird because some fights he won't even attempt a takedown. Other fights he only wants to wrestle. So you don't necessarily know when he's going to choose to wrestle. He is coming off of that loss to Benoit Saint-Denis where he actually did wrestle. And then Benoit just, bang, kicked him right in the face. I'm going with Ziam here. When I picked him 2 weeks ago, he was an underdog. Now he's the favorite. It just gives me even a little more confidence. I actually have a small bet on Ziam when he was an underdog, because I do think he's just the more technical guy. And if he avoids a little bit of chaos early and he stays on the outside and Matt Frevola is just running in recklessly, overcommitting, Frias can touch and go, hit him and step out, And Matt Frevola is just going to slow down, headhunt, ultimately not find what he needs. Ziam is boring as shit. He is not an exciting fighter, and he is going to slow this down, and this is going to be a boring fight. Ziam is the pick. And if you're a premium member, you got him at that plus money that I got him at last week. What do you think, Jakey Bombalotes?
Steam Roller Frevola. I think this is a great fight for him, man. He's obviously going to have, there's always going to be question marks about his chin, right? You've seen him get chinned time and time. It's not like just a one-off thing. He has been chinned in the past, but these are guys that hit pretty hard. Ziam probably can hit hard if he wants to commit and sit on shots. I think anybody, if they're a good striker, can. But he is content with just kind of touching. He wants to just not overcommit. He's going to stay technical. He's just going to throw those shots out there. And when you get Matt Frevola against a guy who doesn't really pose that danger and can get taken down, I think this is a signature fight for a guy like Matt Frevola. The question marks are going to be over the chin. But even if he gets hurt, which he's not really a guy that kind of gets stumbled. When he gets hurt, he usually is pretty fucking hurt.
Yeah, it's all or nothing.
But let's say that Ziam doesn't really have that power, but kind of touches a little bit. Throughout this entire fight, those takedowns should be there for Matt Frevola whenever he wants to get them, whenever he needs to get them as well. So I honestly think that I understand the technical abilities of Ziam, but he's not going to have that space he wants. I mean, he wants to be that middle of the cage, controlling. He's got your back against the fence, and he's able to throw in space. Matt Frevola is going to be all over him early, and even if he doesn't get him out early, it's not like Matt Frevola is a guy that has shown in the past where, he doesn't get a first-round finish, now he's gassing. He just happens to get these first-round finishes. His gas tank is going to be fine, and I think that he can get to the wrestling if he needs to get to it as well. So I'm on Frevola here, and I think I might have just talked myself into placing a bet on him.
There you go. Yeah, I do think, listen, I get the danger that Frevola has, and he will just come charging forward. Look at this. But he didn't have Merab for a huge portion of this fight. Not that it necessarily matters, but I imagine Merab is his best training partner in that gym, and he didn't have him for a giant chunk of this fight. Or this fight camp.
Frevola, I think, is really up at Longo where Merab's been at Syndicate.
That's what I'm saying. So he didn't have him for this camp, but they were teammates well before this camp. So
You say weird stuff.
yeah, facts, actual facts. Even though I'm picking Faraz, and even though in DraftKings Fantasy he's at that dog money, no shot. Am I putting no shot? To Jacob's point, he's not dangerous, so I don't see a finish on his side. And point fighting is not going to do well for DraftKings Fantasy, so he's not going to be in my DraftKings Fantasy lineup. If you have a whole bunch of lineups and you're competing in a large tournament with 150 entries, chasing $60,000, you might want a little bit of exposure for Matt Frevola just for that one punch knockout power and the takedown opportunities. If you do want to unlock all the picks and all the bets, not just for this event, but UFC 307, the 2 fight nights after that, and everything else, it's only $10 for an entire month. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the